I tell you, we have been in such a place in life that we kept talking about how black we are, and I knew that I was black, and that was okay, and I don't denounce my blackness at all. But then I found out that I had a little Indian going on and had some Irish going on, and I said, I would like to be the totality of everything that I am. And I got in my feelings, and I said, wow, this is like vegetable soup. And in my feelings, I said, my skin being honey bronze, blueberry black, or ice cream white, vegetable soup is what I am. But I do not denounce my blackness, calling me sellout, New Day house nigga. You said bootstrap. You didn't help me. Because I see right or wrong, or sometimes looking at gray face, trying to see beyond the color of the skin to the hearts of men. Because you are soup like me, having your skin like mine, your day not going well, and you curse me to hell. And in my blackness, I'm supposed to understand this every day. In my blackness, I say no way. Because you didn't get the position that you thought you should have got. You saw the increase in the dollar. I saw the color of the collar that was close to your head that many would be improperly led. Oh, I helped you. Now, I see common sense just ain't common. You killed me then, you'll kill me again. When right was right and good was good and perfect was balanced, I died for you in my blackness. Now, I do not like to be misunderstood. So please get this if you would. Are you in your blackness or in your ignorance? Because just like you, I got a job to do in my blackness.
All right, I had to start that way. Good afternoon, evening, whichever you choose to use. We know how things are. You are listening to Brown Skin, so welcome to Brown Skin. Today's guest is none other than author and writer of the newspaper. What is it? City? Tell me again.
My City Buzz is
My City Buzz. Okay, I know you tell us. You keep us informed of what's going on. So, yeah, so that is like, hey, it's none other than Nia Sims. So I want you guys to give it up to Nia Sims. She is, as I stated before, she's an author, and she has a book that will be coming out in the fall called Why Not Me? Now, we're going to jump right into this because we know where brown skinned is, the impact, the clear and uncut conversations about us. So thank you, Nia, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And I reached out to you because of the book, Why Not Me? And you being a dark brown skin girl, and I got to keep it out, I got to put it out there. I want you to share with us the trials and tribulations, and yes, I chose those. Look, I chose those words carefully, of being, of why not you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It makes sense to me.
Go ahead, girl.
Well, you know what? Since I was young, I always was teased about being dark. Mostly from family. Mostly just your peers, the schools that I went to. But oddly enough, it wasn't from white people. So when people talk about racism and all that, all I remember is the reverse racism within my own. So, but also I didn't have low self-esteem because of it. Actually, it probably made me a little bit more better about myself and feel good about myself going through that with kids as I was growing up. Why not me is part of that. When my mom first seen me, she said she thought of Ebony because of the color, obviously, but she thought she was going to name me that, which I'm glad she did because there's not too many Nias and I am very different. So I like the fact that she called me Nia, but that's why the book is there for someone else, because in my older years, I realized there are a lot of people who are not happy with how they look, whether it's their skin, whether it's their body, anything. So I wrote the book, and it's a kid's book, but you can be an adult and read it and get just as much impact as a child would.
Okay, when you say that it made you stronger, do you think that it made you stronger being a dark brown skinned girl growing up, being teased by your family versus the outside world?
Well, I think the family and the outside came together, because when I grew up, That's what I remember. I remember growing up and going to school and, going with my family and all that. So I don't know. I don't know if that made me stronger. I'm just saying I've never been a person of I had never had a complex because of it. You would think you would, but I never did. Like, oh my goodness, Mom, why am I like that? So I embraced my naturalness long before it was a trend. I wore dreads before it was a trend. I had my afro before it was like a trend, So that's why I said I don't think it didn't make me less strong. I'll say that.
That's good. So it didn't break you.
Yeah, it didn't break me. Yeah.
Now, when you say that and I do remember you, I forgot to tell the lovely people she's from Youngstown, Ohio, the hometown. I'm like, let me say that too. When you say that you embraced your heritage, where was that? Who introduced you to, your heritage? And I say heritage because you said you were rocking the dreads. And I do remember before it was and I'm using air quotes for the listening audience, before it was a trend. And I know that you were like wearing the African clothes, the African garb, long time ago. Go ahead.
Actually, I don't even remember. All I can say, maybe, I don't know, maybe my late teens, because I don't think I understood, because Nia means purpose. That's the 5th day of Kwanzaa. And I think as I got older, like my early teens, late teens, that's when I really understood what my name meant. It means purpose. So I want to say maybe around that time that I wanted to live up to that. But I didn't do anything different. It was just more knowledge that I knew about my name.
Now tell me this. So that was your birth name?
Yes.
Okay. So your mom knew your birth name. She knew it meant purpose?
I don't think she did. I don't think she did when she named me, honestly, because I asked her. So I don't think she did until maybe I was in elementary. Okay. That's what I think. My daddy may be different. But I remember asking my mom, and she was like, no, or something like that. So, or she said, oh, yeah, like matter of factly or something. I don't know. But I don't think that's why they named it.
Okay, it was just a nice name, and she was like, hey, let's go with it. Okay. Now, when you say that in Kwanzaa, that's the 6th day? Fifth day. And it being the 5th day, when did you learn that? Did you go to like the African culture parades or just Kwanzaa at the church, or you just picked up a book and said, let me read?
I think it was a book. I believe, because I like to read. So I believe I read it in a book. Or I might have learned it in school when I was younger.
Now, interesting you should say that. School. Right. Did you go to a predominantly black school where it was introduced, or how did you learn that in school?
In elementary, I went to predominantly white. I went to a private school. And then after that, I went to public and private and public.
Oh,
and the rest of the world.
They were all predominantly black. Okay. So when you learned of your name and reading, where was that introduction at? Was that in the private school?
I want to say, I think it might have been in junior high. I'm not sure. I don't even remember. It's so long ago, man. Oh my goodness.
You got to give the people what they want. Now you know that.
I want to say maybe in elementary.
In elementary?
Maybe in elementary. 6th, 7th, 8th, like that era.
Okay, so was that public school?
If it was in 6th, it was private. 7th and 8th, it was public. So it was around there.
Okay. What was your driving force behind writing the book, Why Not Me? If it didn't affect you, what was your driving force?
I think because I see how women, little kids, how they weren't embracing themselves and happy with what they look like. I wear my hair blonde, but not because I can't wear it black, just because I can wear it blonde, right? But some people, they got to change their whole self because they don't look they don't like the way they look, or they do something to their skin or to their body. So it was just, honestly, I woke up one day with the poem. Like, I was writing poetry at that time. Mm-hmm. And I woke up one day and that was in me. So I always knew I was going to write a book. I've just been sitting on it for years.
Okay, well, let's take it back, because you said you went with the color hair. Mm-hmm. And you said because you can wear blonde hair. Well, what about the person that is not saying that they have an issue with loving themselves? They just like what they like. I.e., example, you should go natural, and they don't want people with You know, like, okay, well, if you got straight hair, yeah, I do. I got a silk press. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, why won't you wear your hair natural? You were born that way, and then you have that forced upon you. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I never really heard anyone say it in that way. But usually, I never heard anyone say rockin' natural, honestly, because when
I have.
Well, let me tell you. So, has it been in the last few years? Like, is it now? Because back when I was wearing my hair natural, like, why would you do that? That's what I would get. That's what I came across more. But now I don't see that. But I've been wearing my hair natural, so I would just leave people alone. Like, why people can't be just who they want to be? Let them be happy with their silk press. You know, but what my thing is, I don't want you to feel like you have to have a silk press because you can't be natural. But if you're happy the way you are, that's what it's all about.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because the natural, like you were saying, you know, back in the day, it wasn't trendy, air quotes to the listening audience. It wasn't trendy to be natural. Okay. And then now it's almost like you're forced. So you have, like back in the day, you had your dark brown girls, which was nutty to me, how guys felt like the darker you are, the uglier you were. And honestly, females felt that way with guys. That I can speak for. You know, I remember you had to have a curl and all that extra stuff. The lighter they were, the more nice looking they were. And then as you know, once you became an adult, the darker they were, what is it? The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You be like, oh yeah, let me get a dark skinned dude. Don't nobody want a light skinned dude. He taking your mirror more than you. You know, that type stuff. But it's like, why? You know, and I wanted to have this conversation today, even though it happened before. It was a thing, you know, because they had, and excuse me, I'll ding the bell for myself, the air quotes house nigga. You know what I mean? And it was like, the lighter you are, you were considered a house nigga. Well, there was some reverse prejudices as well, where you had, you know, people that talked about who was quote unquote what they deemed ugly, being dark skinned, versus the light skin being a house nigga. And it's like, what? Like, what do you want? And then we're all black and we're all grouped in this category, because before it was 1%. Remember, if you were 1%, if you had black blood, 1% of black blood, you were considered black. Well, now, and you guys can look this up, because you know I'm going to give it to you. Now, if you notice, there is a square that says biracial, because they're becoming the minority. Pick it up. Look. Pick it up. Check that out. You know what I mean? It's just really interesting. It's like, but why? So again, I asked you, and I know you from doing spoken word and poetry. And I want to say that piece that you guys heard at the very beginning, that was from author and spoken word artist Patricia Rudolph. That was Vegetable Soup. And I deemed it necessary for this particular show because it is about colors. And why is it that you expect so much different from each color, and why are we arguing with each other? And they say that we don't get along. We're the only race. And that drives me nuts to say we're the only race that don't stand together. That's because we have different categories for each color. It's interesting. It is.
But we categorize
ourselves. And you heard me say, they say, why don't we come together? We're the only race that don't stick together. Why? Because you're not. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what? And are we all African American? We're all like mixed up. Vegetable soup.
Right, absolutely. We're all black, yes.
Mm-hmm. Get that 1%, but now let it tell you, be like, oh, wait a minute, let's go to the Ancestry.com, and then you see, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, and then you're dealing with the African Americans, and it's like, that's the issue. I don't know who I am. You know, once you realize, it's like, okay, go to your roots. You need to go back to Africa. Wait a minute. I'm from here. And there's that confusion of not knowing who we actually are, to embrace who we are and to love who we are, i.e. find you, embrace you, and love you. Y'all know that's my tag.
Okay. One thing I have to say with that is, even if you don't know who you are, one thing you do know that you're black. You know that your peers are black. You know the people around you are black. Respect them the way you want to be respected. I don't. I mean, I've always loved my dark skinned me. I've never had any issues with them talking about me. I remember a couple of them, which I thought was funny, but them and white men, I've never had any issues with them saying I'm ugly. You know what I mean? But
well, you're not.
No,
so you're not gonna get that,
because of the color. So it's kind of sad that outside of my race was more accepting than my own. Is what my point was. But I've never felt like I had to be that way towards mine. Is what I'm saying. So I was always open. It didn't matter if you were white, black, dark, light skin. My daughter's father is light as my hand. So it didn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not like that. But now everybody seems to be like a kumbaya and pretend that they were mean or whatever.
Now, when you wrote this book, and then we'll get into the interracial relationships that I want to talk about too. When you wrote "Why Not Me," what's your favorite passage in your book? What was your, as Oprah would call it, aha moment?
For myself.
And I can't see you. I don't know what happened to you.
Because I think, hold on. Because you told me to close that light.
There you go. Now I can see you. Go ahead.
That's my natural light. You made me close.
Bring that natural light back. Go ahead.
That's okay. We're fine. What was my for myself?
Yeah, for yourself when you wrote it and I'm gonna let you guys know, like, when you're an author, there's certain things and you write it, and then once because that's what's on your mind, like you said, by you doing spoken word and you write poetry, you're like, what, I'm gonna write this, and then you're like, oh man, that's deep. Oh wow, where you write it and then you go back and look and be like, oh man.
Well, you know what? Honestly, because there's only as much poetry as I have written. I've only freestyled one of them once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've only freestyled one. And I dreamt of one. The one that I dreamt is the book that I'm writing now.
Okay, let's talk about Why Not Me, though. In the Why Not Me.
What I'm saying is the aha moment was the coming up with it in itself. Is what I'm saying. So there was no aha moment. It was just, aha, why not me? Here it is. Honest to goodness, that's that.
So when you actually, so you dreamt the title,
the whole thing.
Okay, that's what I want to know in the book, because I don't have it in hand, and usually before I interview, I actually read the book.
I know.
Where I can't even really say oh, this was deep right here. This is that. There was no part in that book that made you say this will change. That stood out the most and say this will change a young girl's mind. If they happen to be thinking about it. I said a part in there, not the whole thing. It's your book. It better be the whole thing.
No, I mean, honestly, it is, because the whole title in itself is not even what you're not even going to think that's what it's about. So That's why I said it's the aha really was the whole thing.
Okay.
Because I didn't have to change too much.
Okay.
When I actually put it on paper. So that's why I said if it's not in me, I'll sit and write it. But there's only two times when I was able to just go boom and it's ready. And this was when the book was my second one. So
okay.
That it was aha, whoa, this needs to be a book. I guess that would be the aha. It needs to be a book, not just in my book, my little scratch paper.
Okay. Now tell me this: do you find yourself having issues with dating outside your race?
No, and not at all. I absolutely love it. I mean, I date both, but I absolutely love dating outside my race because I find more and more. Now I find people that I've known for years that try to talk to me, but I mean, where were you at? You were either. I mean, I guess that's your aha moment. Now I'm wrong, but whatever. But no, I think confidence meets confidence. if a man is confident to approach you, they're going to approach you wherever they're at. So I find more white men would approach me more than my own. I don't know why that is, but that confidence is something fierce. So it don't matter if you're Indian, white, black, but
so tell me, is there a pickup line? How does that start? With I can imagine how some of our brothers come forward, but for a female, go ahead. I mean, for a Caucasian male.
So it's really usually I'm either in a grocery store, so there goes that conversation. Oh, what's the those look good, and then I get into how I eat, and then that's how that happens. That has been many times. If I'm I could be anywhere. Like
wait. Now come on. Now it's me. So we got to go back. So I'm like, So wait. Let me ask this question. You don't name the names. So they come and they see how you eat, and they say, "Oh, that looks good." When is the question of the phone number? Where the phone number come in at?
I promise you, it is normally that simple. It is really that simple.
So how do they ask? Like, oh yeah, look at that. I love the way. Look, you eat pretty healthy. What's your phone number?
Yeah. Or I'll tell them my name, and then they'll find me, and then we'll start like that.
They find you on social media.
Yeah, and then sometimes you start like that. Or if I'm really feeling you might get my number right then and there. Or I had somebody, we were talking about nonprofit organizations, and it started off business, and then it spiraled into other stuff. So it's really just normal conversation. That's it.
So you telling me, now this didn't happen in the 10 items or less aisle, right? Don't tell me that's why they got the checkouts now, where I got to go check my own self out because you over there talking to people all day.
I'm in produce. I could be in produce. I could be, and I'm telling you, it's not that hard. It really isn't. It's not that hard at all. Or sports. Sports is a big one with me. I meet a lot of people out of town too, and then of course I just
out in public. That is so odd that you would say that, because I didn't think people were approaching people anymore.
Yeah, that's what I said. I guess it's about, but that's what I said, confidence and then friendliness. You can't walk around with a mug on your face, because I'm real friendly. I'm like, hey, I'll walk in the room and say hey to everybody, and then they're like, ooh.
But you're supposed to. When you enter a room.
Right. So that's what I said. It's really not, it's really simple. It's simpler than you think. So in coffee shops.
Not a coffee shop. I could see the coffee shop if you're sitting down and then there's the conversation. But you don't, so you said you don't have a problem. Now let's think back to the first white guy you dated. Did you have reservation because of what other people would think? The truth.
Okay, so when you say date, like the first white guy was like I was in elementary.
No, I'm talking date, not go together.
So I say that to say it was nothing for me then. So it was nothing for me now. Now the mistake I made with the last person that I was real serious with, I introduced that to my family, and they're not ready. So now I know they just have to work. When I'm ready and they're ready, I want everybody to be comfortable. But it was weird to me that they didn't realize that's what I was doing. But yeah, so no, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. But there are men that are not ready. They like the idea, but they're not ready for that out there type of situation.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it like our families? Because was his family welcoming? Did they embrace you?
Absolutely.
So it was. So then, when you introduced them to your family, they wasn't ready.
Yeah, they wasn't ready. That was too much going on at that time.
Okay, so tell me this: do you think at age 20 versus age 40, there's a difference as far as like caring about what your family thinks, or wanting them to be comfortable, so to speak?
I don't.
And this is just this is a general question, not you personally.
No, I don't. At this late in the game, I don't think anyone cares what a family thinks. I didn't realize it was that much of an issue, though. Is what all I'm saying. But I don't think at this age, I don't think we care. Like we're like in our 40s, 50s. We don't care what other people think. So, but in our 20s, yeah, we're like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't, So yeah, I could see that. I could see that. But no, not this late in the game. No one cares.
Okay, now I want to bring it back to where you were saying how your family wasn't ready. Did it end because you wanted him to feel comfortable?
I did. But it ended for other different reasons. Like we still continue. Like it ended for other reasons.
Okay.
All of that. But I wanted that, and he consented. And that's another thing. Like if they have to be used to. That's one of my criteria. Like I don't want this to be an experiment for you. That's not for me. And I need you to be comfortable around other race other than yourself. So he checked all those boxes, and he's used to dating Black women. But I have a strong family. Nothing wrong with that. But I thought he could handle it, but it didn't seem like he could. But like I said, it ended for other reasons. So
okay. You don't have to go into details. I ain't gonna pry too much. I'm not gonna pry too much. I'm not gonna pry too much.
It won't stop this show. I'll tell you that. It's not stopping my show. It's just they'll probably get an invitation to the wedding. That'll probably the day of.
And that's where I was going next. When you have family who may not agree with your choice, when do you say enough is enough? And you said at least you're gonna invite the people. I heard you say that. You said they'll get an invitation the day of, so if they can't make it, it will, right?
It will.
But when does that stop?
You have to make a stop for yourself. If you and that person are happy, and it's not even just white or black. It could be if you're dark skinned and you're with a light skinned man, and no one in your family wants a light skinned man, so we can put it back into the brown skin. But if they're not happy and you know you're happy, go for it, because you're not with your family every day. That's not who you're living with. That's not who you're having kids with. That's not who you're building with. That's not where your foundation is. You have to be happy with the person that you choose, period.
I was really interested with you saying that, because as far as the family wasn't ready, because I noticed with us brown skinned people, period, we'll accept as long as you're not getting beat up. That's the thing, be like, as long as they don't put their hands on you or causing you harm. Usually the family is pretty much embracing, but every family is different. Every family is different, but that's what I noticed. Now, when you brought up the fact where you're you're dark skinned and the guy's light skinned and they like, you know what I mean? Pretty Ricky. Air quotes for the listening audience. You're Pretty Ricky. They like, we ain't trying to hear him. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, now tell me more. Look, tell me more. I need to understand this. And that's why I wanted you to come on, because I wanted understanding and clarity. I didn't experience a lot of the things that other people experience, but what I did experience is a lot of dark-skinned girls wanting to fight me when I was a child. Why? Why? I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. So go ahead. No, go ahead.
So you know what's funny? Someone just told me a couple weeks ago, one of my girls, she said, you know what? And she's light skinned, by the way. She said, when I was growing up, she said, I got it on both ends. She said I'll say the black girls didn't like her. The white girls didn't like her.
Oh, man.
Because she didn't have nowhere to fit in, and she said that then the select few white girls that liked her thought it would be okay to talk about the other black girls that didn't look like her. So she caught it from all sides. And I said, wow, I never thought about that. Then I had a childhood friend who is white, who went to the grade school that I went to. It's like I said, she was white. I don't know if I said it. She's white, and she reminded me of a situation. I don't remember it, but I've had these kind of issues. But she told me, she was like, "Yeah, I remember. You know," she named the guys in our class who were talking about you that day, and she said, "I went home and cried to my mom about it." And I said, "That is so correct." Like, people don't understand. It's not white didn't like me. It was like my own. So, but for her to remember that back in third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade, and we're now in our 40s, it opens up a long conversation, different conversations. The perception is different. You know, in mine, it's about everybody accepting yourself, whereas other people is accepting them for who they are, for everybody. And it's just, it's a conversation piece. So yeah, I'm glad I wrote it, but like I said, it's for a kid, but anybody can get it and you can talk about it.
Absolutely. And I'm glad it is for children, because honestly, let's be real. The people that are having issues now as adults, where they're turning to drugs, they're turning to, getting in abusive relationships, all because lack of coping skills from something that happened when they were younger. And this is a real thing. That's why I wanted to have this conversation. And yes, that is accurate, where you're not accepted by, your own, and being lighter complected. My sister is very light. I used to call her pastel. Because, I was like, oh, pastel, and let it, it wasn't a big deal. It was our own little thing. But I don't know her situations that she dealt with, because she had her friends, but then you got to deal with us at the house. And honestly, it was like, with our family, it's more so, if you could survive our family, you could survive the world.
Anything, right?
Yeah, right? It's like, oh, you good, you ready, and that's probably why you the way you are. You're like, what? That meant nothing. Somebody else cried for you, you missed it. You're like, exactly. What? That's nothing. Yeah.
Absolutely, I will say that is absolutely true.
But
about that,
yeah, right? But when you say that young lady wasn't accepted by white people because she wasn't light enough, and then not by blacks because she was too light. And it's interesting that you're always pegged as, you think you all that. That was the term back then. That was the word. You all that. You think you all that. You know what I mean? Or you're better than, when that's somebody else's perception. It's like and when I say that's somebody else's perception, it is. You heard that from somebody else, and then you jumped on the bandwagon, because Absolutely. They never take the opportunity to get to know the person. Yeah. Now, right. I will say, even, and with our families, all of us, we got an array of colors. You know what I mean? So it's like, your family is your first friend. We all know that your cousins, that's your first friend, or sister, first best friend. So you be like, I don't need you guys anyway. But everyone, believe it or not, needs validation, especially as a child. Even infants, babies, when you say, yay, you clap, that's validation that there's a good thing. You know what I mean? And that's something that, and even as an adult, and that's where I get more concerned. And again, I really get concerned when I look at the social media and the Instagram models and the Facebook models, because it's clear that they're looking for that validation. And I'm like, why not me? I was like, man, I cannot wait till that book drop. I'm like, I cannot wait. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a few, be like, here, just read the book, because you're more than a like. And again, if they just shut down the internet today, boom, you're not a model no more.
At all.
So, so it's like, what do you have? What are you going to do? Looks fade. You got a lot of people getting big butts because they're like, okay, this is in. And here's what's interesting. This is where I'm going to go now. You have that light-skinned person who was alleged. You got the air quotes, lovely people. I'm going to say alleged. The people with the light-skinned ones who were placed on a pedestal, and the thinner you were, the better you looked. You remember that? Because the big boobs and the big butt, it was like, oh no, nobody trying to do that. I'm trying to wear and fit this. So the thinner you were, that was it. Well, now it's not by popular demand. It's not in popular demand right now. So what's in demand is the stallion build. They call it the air quotes again, black girl booty. Mm-hmm. Paying for that. And now it's like, okay, this is what I want to do because now I want to be accepted. And like I said, it rolls. I mean, it just totally twisted. It's like rotating it's rotating real fast, faster than the earth, clearly. You know what I mean? Where it's like at one point it was to be light skinned. That was it. Oh yeah, I wanted to be light skinned. People out here bleaching their skin, the whole nine. Where now and needing that validation to say, oh, okay, and then you got a few white friends, but you're not white enough. You know what I mean? You're not light enough. Then you have, now it's flipped to where light brown people want to be validated by dark brown people. Think about it. Because at one point, and I'm going to use the word punk and not meaning as in gay, it was like use a punk, like you couldn't fight or you couldn't do anything for the fellas that was light skinned. And the dark skinned dudes, it was like, oh, that guy, he a punk. Not a punk being gay. I want to put that out there. A punk not being able to fight. That's pretty much what it was. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a sucker. And I use that term, sucker. It's like, but they need validation from dark skin. And you still see it to this day. Hey, if you want in on this conversation, feel free to do so. My guest today is author Nia Simms and writer of the newspaper, the local newspaper. All right. The phone number here is 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. And feel free. Excuse me, guys. Feel free to text if you scared. Look, you don't want your name put out there. I'm gonna go to some of the viewers and some of the comments here. Let's see here. Okay, it is. Remember, beauty is within. Daryl said, "Beauty is within," and okay. I'm glad that he put that on there. We hear that from our family and it's expected. It's like beauty is within you. Like, they don't like me. You come home from school, blah, 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 blah. Beauty is within. But isn't it interesting how we need that validation from an outside source? If somebody else, like your family can say it all day long, you'd be like, yeah. Pretty much like you're supposed to say that. You know what I mean? Right. But if somebody says it from the outside, it's like, oh man, I must be beautiful. Right. As an adult, beauty is within because we know it used to be an old song, beauty is only skin deep or something like that. And it's like, now we know, because I don't know what they're going to do in these nursing homes when they get old with them butts. Like.
I think, so beauty within, I think that's just another way of self-love. I don't, you know what I mean? Just, you have to love yourself. So before it was like, well, if you feel like you're pretty, then you're pretty. No, y'all don't feel like that. That's a lie. You know what I mean? Because that's not first. You see what we look like first. And then if you like it, you like it, don't. So we actually literally have to dig deep in ourselves. Love ourselves. Self-care, all of that. Because whatever what's rubber glue bounce off me, bounce off you, then that's where that comes into play.
You remember that?
I couldn't get it right. I don't remember how it is. Your rubber, whatever you say, bounce off me.
Stick to you. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm used. I've heard it all. Like, none of that bothers. That's what I said. Between my family, my peers, growing up, you can't really say too much to me that'll make me upset. Now, I've heard it all. Everything. You name it, I heard it. Yeah, it's self-love. It comes first, because if you don't love yourself, this world will take you down.
Now that's for sure. Let's go to another comment. We can be our own worst enemies. That's from Annette. Thank you.
Absolutely.
The crab mentality. Now let's talk about the crab mentality. What's your thoughts on the crab mentality? Do you think that it is a thing?
What's the crab mentality?
The crab mentality is usually where It's like, yes, where people don't want other people to succeed and they keep you down.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't know if that has to do with brown skin, but
it does. Talking about our race.
Oh,
that's what she's talking about as far as we keep each other down.
So if I'm not liking you, I'm gonna say, you ugly or whatever.
No, a little deeper than that. You're successful. You're an author. So here's you're an author. I'm an author.
Okay.
So, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna push my book only. That's it. I'm just pushing my books, and I'm not pushing yours. And no, I'm not gonna invite you on the show.
Okay.
That type, yeah.
So do I feel that that's real, or
do you think that is actually a thing to keep you down?
It can keep a person down if you're not strong. Yes, it will keep you down. My advice is to find that inner self that you want, that you love about yourself, and that will precede you. That is the best thing you could ever do for yourself. And keep going. Don't let anybody, especially around here. I don't know if it's just because no one has been out of Youngstown. I don't know what it is, but here is like if this group is trying, and this is the cliquish group, we're gonna push them. And this over here, we're not gonna help them. We don't need to hear all that. I'm pretty sure somewhere somebody's saying that about my book or anything else that I'm trying to do.
Well, I'm saying get her book. It's coming out in the fall. Why Not Me by Nia Simms. Okay? And everyone has something to offer. Everyone has something to offer. Now, I'll tell you my thoughts, and Annette, I'm glad you said the crab mentality. This is my thought on the crab mentality, and here I'm using a lot of air quotes for that. And my thoughts on that, it can't keep me down. I refuse to allow it to keep me down. Reboot your hard drive. And when you say, Youngstown is a small town, and the cliques, and I had this and now they're doing this. Who cares? Why is it that one person has to have this? Why is it that, you have a book signing and I can't have a book signing on the same weekend? What is this? This isn't a club. You know what I mean? You can do things, and I understand. It's like, we want to support everyone. You can still do that. And you can, why can't we have choices? That's my thing. Now, in the area, by Youngstown, Ohio being a small place, I look at that, and this is just my view. I'm looking through my lens, lovely people. Sometimes people are okay with being big fish in a little pond. Some people are okay with that because they're known. And my thing is branch out. Branch out. Because if it's a big fish in a little pond, there's no room to grow. Where you gonna swim to? You gonna keep hitting walls. You done tapped everybody out because you keep having events. And they're like, okay, here we go. Why not be a small fish in a big pond? And once you outgrow that pond, go to another pond. So like the crab mentality and crabs in a bucket, how about I don't even want to be in your bucket? There you go. Y'all do y'all thing. Have at it. Do what you want to do. I'm going to go over here. And honestly, even, reverting back to the poem, Vegetable Soup, where it's like, you're upset. Okay, I'm black, you black, and you're upset that I think it's in there, it's somewhere where it says you didn't get the job that you thought you should have got because I'm black and I'm here. You call me bootstrap. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, house nigga, you call me that because I didn't help you get a job that you thought you should have had, but you didn't work for it or earn it. And I just think that we need to open up our minds and stop looking for a handout, because what happens there is, in that particular stanza of that poem, it's like, okay, so you want me, we crabs in a bucket, you want me to help you come down and get you, and I done failed trying to get you, and you done got out and you ain't came and helped me back out.
Or anybody else for that.
Right, or told. And my thing is, it's like, the people, can we just be more broader? Can we open our minds? And yes, you want to help one another, but they have to help themselves. Here's a ladder. You got to climb it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because that's weight on my shoulders. I can't keep pulling you. What's that saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Listen, I will throw you the map. will tell you how to do it. Here you go. There you go. I'll see you there if I'm getting water at that time, if I'm drinking at that time. You know what I mean? But it's like, I want us to do better, and I want us to stop hurting one another and stop putting each other down and stop being upset because people don't think the way that you think. Why is it that we aren't allowed to think our own way? And that's not a light skin, dark skin, oh, that's their mentality.
That's a people thing.
That's a people thing. Decisions. We have those. We're allowed to have that. And then you're upset with me, like you said, the clicks. You're upset with me because I don't agree with what you're doing. Okay, well, y'all go in there. And I just feel like as an adult, honestly, we still cliquish. We love high school. Like, and even in high school, I wasn't cliquish. I always rolled dolo. Solo dolo.
Right.
Get along with everybody. Hey, how you doing? You upset with that person? That don't have nothing to do with me. You know?
We also have to learn how to take constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn that early on, because if you get stuck in just thinking like you and no one can talk to you, you will never grow.
Right. I do want to let you know, I went to the comments, you have some who have their order in for Why Not Me. So, hey, kudos to, yeah. And they'll pick it up at the book signing. I can't wait till the book signing, okay?
Oh, okay.
You know?
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I see your cup. It's huge. Ginormous. Go big or go home. You ain't lying. What you got in that cup?
Now, today, I usually drink my sea moss and my elderberry. Today, I just had my chamomile. It's still natural herb.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
I ran out of my sea moss and my elderberry. But, yeah, that's usually what I would drink. But I need my chamomile, the best tea for you.
Okay. All right. That's what she says. Now, it's up to you. You're allowed to make your own decision if you want to go with the chamomile or the sea moss. Now, let's talk about this sea moss, Miss Lady.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, with the sea moss, that's like at the bottom of the sea, right around. Talk to me.
I personally have never had to go get it.
Okay.
Yes, it is in the sea. You want me to tell you about the sea moss per se? Or?
I'm just asking. I'm not. Listen, it's a decision thing. I just ain't fool. Okay. You know, you drink your sea moss, and I'm gonna keep on drinking my positive energy tea.
It looks like this kind of stuff. This is just one of my flowers that's on my table. It looks like this, but it's white.
Yeah, I know what sea moss is.
Right, I'm just saying. And so, yeah, it is. It floats in the sea, bottom of the sea, in the middle of the sea, wherever it floats at.
Now, the fish eat that for...
Do fish eat it?
I'm just putting out there I'm putting it out there so my listeners can do their own research.
Well, I don't know if fish eat it. I guess you can. I don't know. I'm not a fish, so I don't know.
To my understanding, I don't. You know, the sea moss and the algae and all that other stuff. You know, I don't study the sea. I just be like, oh, okay. All right, y'all go right ahead. Y'all do what y'all want to do. Do what's best for you with your body. I'm going to keep sipping on my positive energy tea.
So let me tell you this. Now I think it's been almost 2 years now that I've been using sea moss and elderberry.
Elderberry. Oh, yeah, that's good.
If you don't know, elderberry is for your immune system. Sea moss are the vitamins that you need daily in your body. That's what you need. That's just how it's written. I have not been sick, knock on wood. But my body, when it's trying to get sick, like where I worked at, all my people had COVID, right?
Okay.
I did not, and to this day, I still have not. Knock on wood again. But when I tell you, when my body is fighting it knocks me out. I'm not sick at all, but it's like boom, boom. Your body is fighting for you. I can literally tell.
So it's an immune booster.
Oh my goodness, and it really does what it needs to do. I wish everybody would go vegan and go and take everybody needs sea moss and elderberry in their life. My opinion, not trying to force on anybody else, but it's done.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of people that got mine is better than yours and yours is better than mine. So you started with the whole sea moss. It was a whole bunch of vendors down the line. Mine is this, mine that. I add this. I'm like, yeah, okay. But yeah, make your decision. I want to go to the comment. MacArthur Jackson says, what he have noticed is that confidence is king. When you were talking about the confidence, and that's what's important. He said it doesn't matter the skin tone. When a person carries themselves with confidence, not being concerned about others' opinion, they are looked upon as being attractive no matter what others think. And that is the truth, and what they look like. Because, people could be looking like, but that confidence is something.
I'm trying to listen. What did Biggie say? Biggie said, "I'm black, ugly as ever. However, I'm Gucci down to the socks." And I love that line because he has some confidence. And who did he get? You know what I'm saying? Confidence is everything to me.
Confidence. Confidence is.
It is. It's everything. And then you're right. It don't matter what color you are, but you got to get it inside yourself first, man.
Listen, and you thought you was skipping away at how guys approach you. So you said be friendly. Yes, I'm back. I'm back at the grocery store. I need to know, how did they ask for the phone number? Like,
I'm trying to tell you. Listen, okay. So it is so funny to me because I can see it a mile away. We know when a guy is trying to hit spit game or is coming.
Do we? Because I be missing it.
Well, come hang out with me a little bit.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But no, seriously, like, being that I'm involved in a lot of stuff, I get guys that way. And then they work their way in, and then it's, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. That's most of the time how it comes. But somebody who I'm just like, if I'm out of the area and I'm at a store or something, I am looking. When I'm in my produce, I'm a whole different. When I'm looking for my produce, all that stuff, I'm taking stuff, I'm squeezing it, like I'm smelling it. I mean, that starts a conversation.
I know it does, because I don't know nobody to do that. It would start a conversation with me.
Right. But I'm into all of that. So anywhere. I promise, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's just, because I don't go out looking like, I hope somebody try to talk to me. You don't do that, because it comes when you're not even expecting it. But it's just a conversation. Or, if I'm at a game, which I am at the Browns a lot, I get, what do you do? And then that sparks a conversation. Oh, really? And I'm, it's just everything is.
Okay. Now, just like you said, see, to me, if somebody asks me, hey, what are you doing? I'm just thinking, they're just asking, what am I doing? Now, I had
No. What I'm saying is, it starts conversation, it ends up something, and then you're like, oh, let's exchange numbers. Let's network. Let's do this. So
okay, there we go. So let's network. Mm-hmm. So that's it. Because I'm sitting there like, I just don't see it. Because on another show on Shop Talk with Mel on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, one of yeah, you heard that plug. A guy, he said, my co-host Ruko was saying how he spoke to a young lady. He spoke to her in the drugstore. Mm-hmm. And then she told somebody else that he tried to talk to her. See, that's how I missed the boat. I missed the boat because I won't take it as somebody trying to talk to me. I just think it's just basic, hey, how are you? Not like the pickup line.
Oh, no. But like I said, you can tell. And then I say, like, some guys are like, okay, are you single? Oh, my favorite line is, are you from here? This be our people. It'd be so funny. Like, you're not from here, are you? And then that starts a conversation. Like, yeah, I've been here all my life. Or, I'm from here. So that starts a conversation. You're probably not going to get my number. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's those little lines like that, too. But you can tell the difference between. But like I said, most of the time when it is they come in that way. And it might end up they're trying to talk to you. But it's usually they get in by asking the right questions, like normal people do.
Now, see, yeah, asking the right questions, that's probably it. And I'm gonna share. I'm looking at a comment. Yes, Annette. Yes, she said speaking doesn't mean you're picking up on someone. And see, that could go all the way to the left. You know what I mean? That could go all the way to the left. Okay, you said asking the right questions. Someone was talking, and I just thought this was weird. Tell me if I'm wrong. Look, off topic, but on topic, because this is a brown skinned brother. He says to me, I'm looking for somebody to build with. Mid-50s. And I'm thinking that's probably why, like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. So mid-50s, and you tell me that you're looking for somebody to build with, and you know what my response was. How old are you? They said 55. I said, you ain't built yet? Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but at 55, would you please be built at some point? I'm built. You need to be somebody to, in 20. Let's look at something. Okay, let's get together and build together.
So listen, okay, so to that, sometimes men, because I have a lot of male friends that are doing very well, and some of them are single, some of them are, some of them need to be. I don't care, fight me. But anyway, that might be their line. They might.
That's a whack line.
But listen, no, I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is they might have it going on. They might have it. They might be well off and don't even need anybody, but they want that person that thinks that they need to build. They want that person. They don't want a person to say, "Oh, I got this and I got that." Of course, how hard is that going to attract a female, right? So some of them might play it down so that they don't look as good as they are, and then and they'll get the right woman by that.
How about not saying anything? Hey, how are you? Would you like to go to lunch? Work with that. I'm looking for somebody to build with. I'm not.
Wait, you mean that's the hello?
That was the introduction. I'm like, how old are you? And then they told me, I said, 55. Like, you not built yet? Like, no. Now, you say I'm looking to someone to start a business with, someone to do, you know what I mean? You have your differences, but come on. I was like, like, you ain't built at 55?
Right.
Times are ticking.
Right.
Like, no, son. Yeah, no, son, I'm not interested. We could be, and see, that's when you're in the box. It's like, do I dismiss the person? Absolutely not, because I think everyone has value. But you're in the friend zone. You're in that box. And get yourself automatically. And guess what? You're not getting out that box, because my mind is still stuck on the initial greeting. I'm like, because when you're dealing with someone who actually is doing something, that's going to constantly be there. Because when you say I'm looking for somebody to build with, to me, I feel like, oh, you looking for a nurse or a purse? No.
I love that. Okay.
No, come on now. I'm like, An older lady told a friend of mine that, and she shared it with me, and I like it. And I was like, oh yeah, 55, nurse or a purse? No.
I like that.
I ain't trying.
Okay.
And I'm not mad. Those are goals. I'm not mad.
Right.
I'm not mad, but guess what?
That's not for me.
That's not my ministry at all. It's not my ministry at all. It's like, no, bye, see ya. Done. So that's why I was like, interesting. Whereas when I get approached from a Caucasian guy, the approach is very different. It starts off, I don't know if it's some type of class or what, but you get the compliment. But you pretty much said the same thing. You get the compliment first. It's like, oh, thank you. And it's harmless. So that's when you kind of know. And it's like, oh, okay. Hey, would you like to do a network? That's the key. Depending on the type or caliber of female you're dealing with is how you approach the situation. And then once you go to lunch or whatever on a business meeting, because that's what I usually get. It took me a little bit of time. I was slightly delayed on that pickup. It was a business meeting, and then the business meeting, coffee, like you said. And it's like, oh, okay, well, let's go to the coffee shop. But when we talk, and I'm focused on the business, and they're talking about something different, but they kind of know. Like, yeah, you're staring. And you were like, can we get started? You know what I mean? Should we start this with prayer? You want to start off? Can we get started here? But and then you kind of see if you vibe in the conversation. That's why I was asking you. I said, not a grocery store. Now, how you do that? But network, that's the key. So fellas, if you're listening to Brown Skin, network. network. Everybody's doing something, especially with the COVID and folk being laid off and not working. I found, and this was a humbug. Not, and it was a nice one. It was a really nice one, Caucasian guy. Well, this is to what he does. And I met him doing, work. And he told me that his job, they closed down due to the pandemic. But what he did was started his own business. That's attractive. Because you're like, let me make some things happen. So I said, so you just pick up bodies, dead bodies? I know. But listen, wait. But it was good. Innovative. I love it. He said, when you look at it like, he said, it's like an Uber for the deceased.
Okay. So he works for the coroner.
No, he works for himself.
No. So what does he do?
He picks up the dead bodies from like different nursing homes in an area, and then he delivers it. So it's like a subcontract type thing. And it's in the middle of the night because you figure, like, when I used to see them come, the funeral homes come, they got to get all suited and booted. It's 2:00 in the morning. This person passed away. But what he does, he comes, he's dressed the part. They ask, like, the weight and everything. He comes, pick them up, boom, put them in the back of the minivan, child. Now, I did look, and I said, is that a sleeping bag? That was me. Because this was like burgundy, and I'm used to seeing. Right, I'm used to seeing. Right. I'm used to seeing like the black bags. You zip up. This bag was burgundy, and it was a little furry. And I said, "Is that a sleeping bag?" So the other nurse looked, and she was like, "Well, what's that pocket for?" You know me. I was like, popcorn, because I still think it's like. And he was like, "It's for the paperwork." But he was so kind, and I was talking to him, and he said that. Then I told him my status after, but I thought it was really nice. And it was once you got the conversation, going, and he was able to express himself, it was like, oh. And then he said, I just look at it this way. He said, an Uber for the deceased, and I don't have to worry about them saying, slow down, can you put the air on, can you turn the radio on, anything like that. But listen to the fees, which was really interesting. And I wasn't looking at it to say, okay, well, yeah, maybe I might cheat just to be, that wasn't the case at all. A conversation, he said, on the weekend, $250 per body.
Oh, that's what you...
That's what he got. And I thought that was amazing. I said, wow. So you subcontract, this if you go pick up the bodies from what I think he said 9 to 6 in the morning, 9 p.m. to 6 in the morning. And the funeral homes, wherever they are, they meet him there, and then they, bring the body. He puts the body in there, and then they go head home to do what they need to do. So he's like pretty much like subleasing with funeral homes, and he said he deals with he deals with 3 counties. But I thought that was cool. Now that right there, that's attractive to me because you made yourself a job. I'm like, he made one. Like, yes, there's a need, and he's not a mortician. He is just the transport.
That's it. That's all. Wow.
Right.
I love it.
Absolutely. And that's attractive. Look, I'm like, and that's attractive for some. Now, back to Nia. Any last words, hon?
I don't. Just thank you for having me on. And just love yourselves, y'all. I mean, the first thing you can do, love yourself, because once you do, your mentality change, you raise that bar for how people treat you, and then you'll expect different from everyone else. Love yourself.
Now, to the little girl out there that may be dealing with an identity crisis or not being accepted, what would you say to her? What would you say to that 5-year-old? That 5-6-year-old?
I would compliment her first. That's what I would probably be able to tell, because I plan on doing book tours, so this is the age that I plan on being around. So compliment, because that's what I do with little kids around me now. Compliment them.
You find something to compliment them on.
And I think everyone should do that.
Okay, so what would you tell the 11 and 12-year-old young lady?
You know what? I compliment anybody, adult ladies too. But
what would you tell the 11 and 12-year-old?
let's see. The last time I had to speak to that age range, I still tell them the same thing because at that age they're like,
what is the same thing? What would you tell the 11 and 12-year-old right now? Right
now, usually their problem is the boys. So it would be like if you love yourself first, that's how you showing other people to treat you. So I that's what I've said to them before. I mean, I don't know my exact words, but that's my. I
want to know your words today. I don't want to know your words then today.
So what I'm saying is, you need to love yourself first. Find what you love about yourself, and keep that, and find what you love to do. Because you got to keep your mind busy. So when you find something that you like, you'll be what's the word I'm looking for? But you'll stay busy, and then you have to love yourself, and that is what I tell just about everybody from what age to all the way.
Well,
up.
that don't sound too convincing to me at 11 and 12. Because when I was 11 and 12, and if somebody would have said love yourself, I'm like, okay, what does that mean?
Are they already telling you like I said, I've talked to this age, and that was the common thing. And when I said that, I didn't have an issue with them not understanding it. So,
but what about the child that won't understand? But I like the fact that you said find what you like to do, what you like. I like that.
But that's still I'm just gonna keep what I said. I'm gonna stick to what.
Tell me. Just to love yourself. Anything else that you would tell them? Can you elaborate?
I'm going to have to think about that, but no, I can't actually right now.
If I'm an 11-year-old girl and I say to you, what does that mean to love myself? I like to do hair. And you complimented me on my hair, and I said I like to do hair. And what would you say? Off script, we're not talking about being at the book tour.
Because I'm trying to think. My little cousin just said she liked hair, and I told her to keep doing her hair. Because she said she likes the braid. She started braiding her hair, and I told her to keep trying, keep at it to make it better, to perfect it. And then when you get older, you can go to school for it.
Work on your craft, okay.
So find what you like, perfect it, and
execute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, for the adult woman who still has low self-esteem, and she's an adult now, and she keeps getting into abusive relationships, what would you say?
Well, okay, so
I gave you the scenario. Try to make it easier.
No, I know, and it's so honestly because I know people that have came to me and said, I love what you do and I love how, you're going to think I'm just saying this, but I tell them the same thing. You have to date yourself, love it, because I was that age.
Okay, date yourself, okay.
So when you get that age, I say you have to love yourself first. You have to get to the point where can't nobody tell you just anything and you go with it. So, and believe me, I had to get there too, because as far as relationship, but you have to get to that place where you pretty much, where people would say, oh, you bougie, you have to be bougie within yourself, right? So you have to get to a place where you can go to the store by yourself, and you can also go to the store without wearing makeup because you're happy with how you are. Now, I get a lot of that too, and people say, well, you can like makeup all day. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but you should love yourself enough to know that you can go 3 miles without wearing, and you're going to be fine.
But what if, and see, I'm glad you brought that up, even though we're going over a little bit. But if I like my lip gloss, and me wearing my lip gloss does not mean that I don't love myself. But if I don't want to go out the door or with makeup, these are for my makeup wearers here. I gotta step in. If you don't want to go out without makeup, you shouldn't have to. That doesn't mean you don't love how you look, but you like the way that you like the way you look. What is it? Look good, feel good.
So I'm talking to the one you were asking me, the one about the low self-esteem. I'm talking to that person.
In abusive, yeah.
I had somebody tell me, I don't want to grow. tell me that they can't leave the house without makeup. That's the person I'm talking. I'm talking to, and there's many of them, because a lot of people feel like they can't, and they feel like they got to put a whole bunch on in order to be beautiful. I don't care if you wear makeup or not. Somewhere, somebody feels that they have to put it on in order to feel beautiful. That's the person I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere without my lip gloss. I don't like ashy lips, but I don't have to put a whole bunch of makeup on to leave the house. That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not knocking anybody. That's why I said I'm not knocking anybody who wear it, but I'm speaking to those who wear it because they're not happy with themselves. Stop wearing it a few times, and I'm telling you, you'll start looking at yourself more and you'll love yourself. The best advice a guy gave me, rest his soul, when I was in high school, me and his sister were best friends, and he told me, stop wearing makeup, because we couldn't go to we just go to the mall on Saturday mornings. We couldn't go to the mailbox without being cute. So he told me, if you continue to wear makeup every day, you're going to have to when you get older. And that day, I stopped wearing makeup. I promise you that. Now, will I wear it? Of course I will, because I'm a woman. I like it. But I don't have to. There's a difference. So that was the best advice he gave me at 16, 17 years old. But that's what I would say. Date yourself. Love yourself. Because when you get to that point, now don't get to the point where when a good guy comes to you, you're like, and you don't know the difference. But get to a place where you love yourself so much that negativity is going to bounce off you before you can get to you. You got a whole shield around you that shows that you love yourself. That's the advice I would give that person. Love yourself. It goes deeper as you get older because you deal with it.
True. I agree. You gotta love yourself. I'm always about that. Always about that. I do want to reiterate, when you say love yourself, you definitely have to. I will share, if I was talking to a 5-year-old, I would definitely, compliments is everything. Compliments is everything. The little things matter most to them. How good was that picture? I got pictures all up on the wall. I put it up in my office just so someone, they can see. I was like, okay, don't forget to sign it. I need your signature. This is going to mean a whole lot. You know what I mean? So compliments, that's the answer for the youth. The young adult, the 11 and 12-year-old going through puberty, you might not look the way that you want to look, because all of us went through that phase. You be like, oh man, you look back, you thought you was hot, then you look back and be like, oh man, that was crazy. You know what I mean? But that 11 and 12-year-old, yes, what is it that you like to do? What is it that you're trying to become? What's your dream? What's your goals? When I was in the 9th grade, they say, okay, what's your goals? What do you want to be? I knew what I wanted to be when I was 11 and 12, and I accomplished them all. Kudos. And I was shocked because somebody else let me know I accomplished them all, and they told me, how about that? They was like, I remember when we were little, you said A, B, C, and D, and you did it all. I said, oh. He was like, yeah, we was walking up the street. I was like, that's kind of cool, But what is it that you want to be? And have them write it down. Write it down, make it plain. My mom always says that. Write it down, because once you see it, you write it, you envision it, you execute it, okay, and see where it can take you to. And you always want to set dates. If you don't know, and this is a motivational piece right here. If you are not motivated, and it takes time for you to get motivated, give yourself a deadline. Once you give yourself a deadline and you see it's creeping up, you're going to be like, oh, snap, I better hurry up. And here's the deal. Make sure your deadline, put it out publicly so that the public will hold you accountable.
Right.
That's what you want to do. And for that adult, now the adult, I would definitely say love you. I would definitely say love you. I'm with you 100% on that one. I'm piggybacking on that one. All right. I want to go ahead.
The 11 and 12-year-old, because I told my niece is 16 now, but I always told her, boys will be there. Boys will be there until the end of time. Do not rush anything.
Yeah, and the different ones are like you, because the nerds is winning now.
Oh, who was winning with me back then? I didn't even know.
Listen here. You had to be a good dresser. That was my thing. You had to be a good dresser. Boom, and you had to exude confidence even when I was younger, because it wasn't like the cutest. And I'm gonna leave my little boyfriends back then, they all successful, and I'd be cracking up laughing. I was sitting there like, I be sitting, right. I seen it a long time ago, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, that was my little girlfriend." Back in elementary school. I was like, "Okay, I'm watching you." Confidence, and nobody likes a dummy. Let's be real. And I'm not trying to be funny. You got that dude, 55. I'm going back with the age 55. That must be the special number. I really don't care what you did in high school. You was like the star player in high school. I scored. I got a mean jumper. Can you do it now? Nope. Sit down. You got to come with substance. You have to come with substance. And that's why I say, I'm like, yeah, you had the ones that were talking about the nerds and how they were, but the nerds are winning. And when you heard back in the day, it was, and I would hear like even, my cousins and all that, the little boy that nobody gave a chance, they'd be like, wait till you get grown. And they was putting ahead, you make a lot of money, get everything, learn everything you need to learn, make a lot of money, and you'll get the girl. And then you can get to one that you really want. How about that?
Right.
And there you go. All right. Thank you for tuning in to Brown Skin. Next week, I have a financial and eye color advisor. She's a bank manager, Wells Fargo. She's going to give us some financial advice. Jessica Golden out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I want you lovely people to tune in to Brown Skin next week. And I know some of y'all like, y'all black people can't advise me on the dollar. I already know, because y'all be like, but listen, let's talk about investing and investments. Invest in self. I'm all about investing in self. I'll support you. Here you go. But I got to invest in self first. Pay yourself first. Start with yourself first. Whatever your dreams and your goals are and ambitions are, do yourself first. And then the other people that talk about something, you don't support me, I got $2. I'll help you. I got $2 left. Here you go. Don't cut yourself short for somebody else. And I'm going to say that forever. And I'm getting ready to end. And on that note, just remember, your beginning does not define your end, but your end will be your beginning. Next week on Brown Skinned, we going to talk with Jessica, all right? And thank you guys for tuning in. Every Monday, it's that time again. We getting back into fall. 4 p.m. is Brown Skin, The Impact, clear and uncut conversations about us. Thank you, Nia Sims. Her book is Why Not Me? I appreciate you coming on. And check her out, guys. She's on all social media. Nia Sims. Look her up. Chat with her. She said she friendly. Look, she said that she friendly. Now, y'all don't be sending no pics in her inbox now. Okay, you be like, oh, you said you was friendly. I heard you on Brown Skin. You said that you was real friendly. Bye-bye. All right, take it easy, girlfriend. And keep writing. And I'll keep reading your articles on the newspaper. All right, sweetheart. Again, you're listening to Brown Skin.